I am sitting alone in my apartment right now, staring at an empty space where her things used to be. 3 years. That is how long I spent building a life with someone who was secretly planning her escape. She demanded my phone password, claiming transparency was essential for trust. I gave it without hesitation. When I asked for hers, everything changed. Before we begin, let me know where you are watching from in the comments below. Hit that like button and subscribe if you have not already. Stick around to see what happens when trust becomes a one-way street, and how I turn the tables in the most unexpected way. My name is Dale. I'm 32 years old, and I work as a software engineer at a tech company in Austin, Texas. I met Natalie 3 years ago at a mutual friend's birthday party. She was 26 then, working in the marketing department of an advertising agency downtown. The moment I saw her, something clicked. She had this energy about her, this way of making everyone around her feel heard and understood. When she laughed, her whole face lit up, and when she listened, she really listened. I remember thinking that night that I had finally found someone special. Our relationship moved at a pace that felt natural. The first 6 months were filled with late-night conversations, weekend getaways, and the kind of romance you see in movies but rarely experience in real life. By our 1-year anniversary, Natalie had moved into my apartment. We talked about the future constantly. Marriage, kids, buying a house together someday. I started saving for an engagement ring, hiding the growing fund in a separate account she did not know about. By year 2, I had the ring hidden in my sock drawer, waiting for the perfect moment. My parents adored her. My friends approved. Everything seemed to be falling into place. I have always been an open book in relationships. My phone sat on the coffee table unlocked. I shared my email password, my bank account, access everything. I never saw a reason to hide anything from someone I loved. Natalie knew this about me, and I thought she appreciated it. I thought we were building something based on mutual trust and honesty. I could not have been more wrong. Looking back now, the signs were there. I just chose not to see them. About 3 months before everything fell apart, Natalie started working late more frequently. 2, sometimes 3 nights a week she would text me saying the team had a big project deadline. I never questioned it. I trusted her completely. I would order dinner for myself, save her portion in the fridge, and wait up until she got home. She always seemed tired but happy, talking about how demanding but rewarding the work was. 2 months before the end, something small happened that I dismissed too quickly. My phone died while we were out and I needed to call a taxi. I asked to borrow her phone, something I had done dozens of times before, but when I tried to unlock it, my thumbprint did not work. She had changed the password. When I mentioned it, she barely looked up from her purse. Company policy, she said. They implemented new security protocols because of confidential client information. It made sense at the time. I did not push further. About a month before everything exploded, a new name started appearing in our conversations. Marcus. Marcus from work. Marcus had such a creative approach to the Henderson account. Marcus stayed late to help her finish a proposal. I did not think much of it. I had female colleagues I talked about too. It seemed normal. But there was one evening when I glanced over and saw her smiling at her phone in a way that made my stomach tighten for just a second. I asked who she was texting. Group chat, she said. The marketing team was joking around. I nodded and went back to watching television. 2 weeks before the confrontation, her behavior shifted in ways I could not ignore but still tried to rationalize. She started placing her phone face down on every surface. She would step out onto the balcony to take calls, closing the glass door behind her. Work calls, she explained. Did not want to disturb me while I was relaxing. I told myself I was being paranoid. I refused to become that boyfriend, the jealous, controlling type who read too much into innocent actions. I loved her. I trusted her. And that trust was about to cost me everything. It was a Friday evening when the foundation of my relationship crumbled. I had left work early, stopping to pick up a bouquet of sunflowers, her favorite, and a bottle of the red wine she loved. I was planning a quiet night and maybe watching a movie, reconnecting after what felt like weeks of ships passing in the night. When I opened the apartment door, I knew immediately something was wrong. Natalie was sitting on the couch, but there was no warmth in her posture. Her arms were crossed, her jaw was tight, and she did not even glance at the flowers in my hand. Dale, we need to talk. Her voice was flat, serious. I set the flowers on the kitchen counter, my good mood evaporating. I sat down across from her, my heart already beating faster than normal. What is going on? I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. She looked me directly in the eyes and said something I never expected. I need your phone password. Right now. I blinked, genuinely confused. My phone? Why? Her eyes narrowed. If you have nothing to hide, you should have no problem giving it to me. I saw you smiling at your phone yesterday. Who were you texting? My mind raced, trying to remember yesterday. I had been texting Kevin about weekend plans. That was it. A friend of mine, she continued, her voice growing more accusatory. Her boyfriend was cheating on her. He always protected his phone, too. Always had excuses. I just need to know I can trust you, Dale. For a moment I felt defensive. Where was this coming from? But then I thought about it logically. I had nothing to hide. Absolutely nothing. If showing her my phone would ease her mind and strengthen our relationship, why would I refuse? So I reached into my pocket, pulled out my phone, and handed it to her along with the password. 1987, I said. My birth year. Check everything you want. She took it from my hand and began scrolling. I watched her face as she went through my messages, one conversation at a time. Kevin, my mom, my coworker James. She opened my photos, swiping through pictures of us, screenshots of memes, photos from a work conference. She checked my emails, my social media, my call history. Minutes passed in silence. When she finally looked up, her expression had softened slightly, but there was something else there too, something I could not quite identify. Okay, she said, handing the phone back. I believe you. I should have felt relieved. Instead, I felt a small spark of something else. If transparency was so important to her, surely it should go both ways. I kept my voice calm, casual even. Okay, I showed you mine. Now can I see yours? The transformation was immediate and jarring. Her face, which had just relaxed, tightened again. She stood up from the couch, taking a physical step backward. What? No, absolutely not. I was genuinely stunned. I had just handed over my entire digital life without a second thought. I had answered her suspicions with complete openness. And now she was refusing to do the same. I do not understand, I said. You just went through my entire phone. How is it unfair for me to ask the same thing? Her response came rapid-fire defensive in a way I had never seen before. My phone is my privacy, Dale. I have work stuff on there. Confidential client information. You are being so controlling right now. This is exactly what abusive partners do. You know that I cannot believe you are turning this around on me. I tried to reason with her. Wait, I said, holding up my hands. You literally just demanded my password and I gave it to you without question. You went through everything. How is it controlling when I ask for the exact same thing? I thought we were building trust together. Is this not what trust looks like? Her voice rose, nearly a shout. This is different. You are a guy. Guys cheat all the time. I do not have to prove anything to you. If you cannot trust me, maybe we should not be together. Before I could respond, she grabbed her phone from the coffee table, marched into the bedroom, and slammed the door hard enough to rattle the picture frames on the wall. I sat there in the silence she left behind, the sunflowers wilting on the counter, the wine unopened. For the first time in 3 years, I truly doubted the woman I loved. I did not sleep in our bed that night. I stretched out on the couch, staring at the ceiling, replaying the conversation over and over. The more I thought about it, the less sense it made. She had accused me of being controlling for asking the same thing she had demanded. She had called transparency abusive when it was directed at her, but essential when directed at me. The hypocrisy was staggering, and it forced me to confront something I had been avoiding for months. The late nights. The changed password. Marcus. The phone always face down. The balcony calls. Each memory surfaced like evidence in a case I did not want to prosecute. But I could not unsee the pattern anymore. By morning, I had made a decision. I needed to know the truth, not through accusations or arguments, but through proof I could not deny. I was not going to snoop through her belongings or hack into her accounts. That was not who I was. But if the truth was going to reveal itself, I would be ready to receive it. Saturday morning arrived gray and quiet. Natalie emerged from the bedroom around 9, acting as if the previous night had never happened. She smiled at me, kissed my cheek, and announced she was going to take a long shower. Maybe we can get brunch later, she suggested, her tone light and unbothered. I nodded, watching her disappear into the bathroom. A moment later, I heard the water start running. Her phone sat on the kitchen counter where she had left it. I looked at it for a long moment, wrestling with myself. Then I noticed something. The small Bluetooth icon in the corner of my own phone screen. Our living room speaker, the one we used for music during dinners and lazy Sunday mornings, was still paired to her device. She had forgotten to disconnect it. We had set up the sharing features months ago, back when we trusted each other completely, back when her phone and mine were practically interchangeable. I thought about what she had said. If you have nothing to hide, you should have no problem. Her own logic, her own standard. I opened the Bluetooth settings on my phone and connected to the speaker. Then I navigated to the shared voice memos, the ones she recorded for herself and sometimes sent to her best friend Lauren. My finger hovered over the play button. This felt like crossing a line. But she had crossed lines first. She had demanded my transparency while hoarding her secrets. She had accused me of being controlling while controlling the narrative. I pressed play. The first recording was dated 3 weeks earlier. Natalie's voice filled the living room, clear and unmistakable. "Lauren, you would not believe how good-looking he is. I mean, I knew he was attractive when he started, but working with him every day, it is different. He brought me coffee this morning and remembered exactly how I like it. Oat milk, 1 sugar. Dale never notices those little things anymore." The words hit me like a punch to the chest, but I kept listening. The second recording was from 2 weeks before. We stayed until the bar closed, just the two of us. Everyone else left around 10, but Marcus suggested one more drink and then one more after that. He told me I am the most interesting woman he has ever met. Can you believe that I felt things I have not felt with Dale in a long time? I know it is wrong, but I cannot stop thinking about him. The third recording made my hands shake. It was from just 1 week ago. Lauren Marcus kissed me. In the parking lot after work. We were standing by my car and he just leaned in and I kissed him back. It was amazing. I do not know what to do. Dale is so boring compared to him. Marcus makes me feel alive. Dale just makes me feel comfortable. Maybe comfortable is not enough anymore. The fourth recording from 3 days before our confrontation revealed everything. I think I need to end things with Dale, but I do not know how. His apartment is so nice and I cannot afford my own place right now. Marcus said he would wait for me, but not forever. Maybe I can make Dale think he is the problem so he breaks up with me. That way I do not look like the bad guy. I sat frozen as the recording continued to play. 3 years. 3 years of my life, my love, my trust, my plans for a future together. All of it had been a convenience to her. A nice apartment, stability, someone to fall back on while she pursued excitement elsewhere. She was not just cheating, she was strategizing how to make me the villain in her story. The bathroom door opened. I heard her footsteps before I saw her. She walked out with a towel wrapped around her hair, wearing her favorite robe, humming softly to herself. She was smiling, completely unaware of what awaited her. Then she heard it. Her own voice coming from the speaker, filling the apartment. "Maybe I can make Dale think he is the problem, so he breaks up with me. That way I do not look like the bad guy." The humming stopped. The smile vanished. Her face went pale, then red, cycling through emotions faster than I could track. She stood frozen in the hallway, her eyes darting from the speaker to me to her phone on the counter. For 10 seconds, maybe more, neither of us spoke. Her recorded voice continued in the background, the only sound in the room. She lunged for the speaker, slapping the power button to silence it. Then she spun toward me, and I watched her fear transform into fury. "How dare you?" she shouted. "You went through my phone. This is a violation of my privacy. You are insane. You are controlling. You are abusive." I remained seated, my voice surprisingly calm given the hurricane inside me. "I did not go through your phone. I connected to the Bluetooth speaker that was already synced. The same speaker we have been using together for 2 years. You left it connected." I paused, letting the irony settle. "Also, you demanded my password yesterday because, and I believe these were your exact words, if I have nothing to hide. Looks like you had plenty to hide." Her approach shifted instantly. The anger melted into desperation. "Those recordings, they are out of context," she pleaded. "Marcus is just a friend." I was venting. "You do not understand. Please, Dale, we can work this out. I love you." I stood up slowly, walked to the bedroom, opened my sock drawer, pulled out the small velvet box I had been hiding for months. When I returned to the living room, I held it up so she could see. "This was for you," I said quietly. "I was going to propose next month. I had the whole evening planned. Your favorite restaurant. A walk along the river. I was going to tell you that you were the best thing that ever happened to me." I placed the box on the coffee table between us. "Thank you for saving me from the biggest mistake of my life." Her tears were flowing freely now, but I felt nothing. No sympathy, no satisfaction, just a hollow calm. I picked up my keys from the hook by the door. "Pack your things," I said without looking back. "I want you out by tonight." Then I walked out of my own apartment, leaving her standing there with nothing but the echo of her own recorded confessions. I drove without a destination that morning. The streets of Austin blurred past my windows as my mind tried to process what had just happened. Eventually, I found myself at Zilker Park, sitting on a bench near the water, watching joggers and families go about their Saturday as if the world had not just shifted beneath my feet. I called Kevin, told him everything. He did not ask questions, did not offer advice. He just said, "Come over. You should not be alone tonight." That first night at Kevin's apartment, we barely spoke. We drank beer and watched basketball, and he let me exist in my silence. Around midnight, my phone buzzed. A text from Natalie. "Please call me. Let me explain." I stared at the message for a full minute, then blocked her number. There was nothing left to explain. When I returned to my apartment the next day, she was gone. Her clothes, her makeup, her books, all vanished. Only the key remained sitting on the kitchen counter where her phone had been the day before. I walked through the empty spaces she had occupied, touching surfaces that still held traces of her presence. The closet half empty. The bathroom cabinet cleared out. The framed photo of us at the beach, taken during happier times, was still there, but I could not bring myself to look at it. The first month was brutal. I barely slept. Food lost its taste. At work, I made mistakes I would never normally make, my concentration shattered by memories that ambushed me at random moments. I kept asking myself what I had done wrong. Was I too boring, too comfortable? Had I failed to make her feel alive? But every time I spiraled into self-blame, I remembered her voice on those recordings. "Dale is so boring compared to him," and I realized the problem was never me. It was her inability to appreciate what she had. The second month brought small improvements. I started going to the gym, channeling my anger and hurt into physical exertion. I reconnected with old friends I had neglected during my relationship, realizing how much of my social life I had sacrificed for someone who did not deserve it. My parents called regularly, never prying for details, just reminding me they were proud of how I handled everything. My mother said something that stuck with me. "The right person will never make you feel like loving them is a chore." By the third month, I was starting to feel like myself again. I got promoted at work, recognition for projects I had thrown myself into as a distraction. I redecorated my apartment, replacing furniture that held too many memories with pieces that felt new and mine alone. I started cooking again, trying recipes I had always wanted to attempt. Slowly, the weight on my chest began to lift. 6 months after that Saturday morning, I ran into a former colleague of Natalie's at a coffee shop. We chatted briefly, and she mentioned almost casually that Marcus had ended things with Natalie after only 2 months. Apparently, the excitement wore off quickly when the reality of a relationship set in. Natalie had moved back in with her parents, unable to afford an apartment on her own. I listened to this news and felt nothing. No satisfaction, no pity, just indifference. And in that indifference, I found my freedom. What I learned from this experience has shaped how I approach relationships now. Trust is not a one-way street. Anyone who demands your transparency while refusing to offer their own is hiding something. That imbalance is not about security. It is about control. And being comfortable with someone is not a weakness. It is not boring. Comfort means safety. It means reliability. It means someone you can build a life with. The right person will cherish that comfort, not crave constant chaos to feel alive. Most importantly, sometimes you do not need to fight to win. Sometimes you just need to step back and let people reveal who they truly are. The truth has a way of surfacing. Your only job is to be ready when it does. Sometimes the person demanding your loyalty is the one incapable of giving theirs. And sometimes the best thing you can do is simply hand over what they asked for and wait for them to reveal who they truly are. I gave her my password. She gave me my freedom. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever experienced a moment when someone's double standards revealed their true character? Drop your story in the comments below. If this resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more stories like this one. Share this video with someone who might need to hear it today. Thank you for watching and for being part of this community. I wish you clarity in your relationships, the courage to demand the respect you deserve, and the wisdom to recognize when someone is not worthy of your trust. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next one.